But had I had a father, had I had some of these opportunities, I'd have been able to help my mother more. She wouldn't have went the road she went. I could have been a better son. You know, there's so many problems in our community that affect everything.
When men are not in the home, you don't just destabilize the family, you confuse the next generation. The majority of boys being raised by single mothers today, they're growing up emotionally off balance. Not because their mothers don't love them, but because there was no masculine presence to model how to be a man. You cannot raise a boy into a man on love alone. He has to see a man be a man. He has to observe how masculinity responds to chaos, how it stands firm, leads with logic, and disciplines with vision. But instead, a lot of these young boys only see conflict resolved through emotion. They see yelling, passive aggressiveness, and reaction, not leadership. So what do? They grow up mimicking what they saw. That's why we now have a wave of grown men who argue like women, who process like women, and who communicate like women. They're not being emotionally intelligent, they're emotionally imbalanced. These are men who go back and forth in text threads, who throw shade, subpost, and get sassy in the comments. And women mistake it for passion, like, oh, he must care. No, sis, that's not passion. That's programming. He's mirroring feminine energy because it's all he's ever known. You want to know why so many men today come off beta, weak, overly emotional, or even effeminate? Because no one ever pulled them aside and taught them how to be a man. No one showed them how to protect, how to provide, or how to lead with principle instead of pride. According to the US Census Bureau, over 64% of black children grow up in fatherless homes. Boys from fatherless homes are 279% more likely to carry guns and deal drugs. They're 20 times more likely to end up in prison. Studies show they're more likely to suffer from depression, behavioral issues, and emotional instability. When men start walking in their purpose, they're no longer performing for validation. If we want real leaders and protectors, we have to stop shaming masculinity and start rebuilding it. Men of substance and stability aren't extinct, they're just no longer volunteering themselves to be casualties of modern dating dysfunction. At some point, we've got to ask ourselves, how much longer are we willing to pass down dysfunction like it's a family heirloom? Life is short, time is limited, and every generation we waste in confusion and division. We rob the next of stability, structure, and love. Broken homes don't just break families, they break futures. We keep saying that masculinity is toxic, but maybe the real problem is that we've spent years shaming strong male presence and pushing boys to feel more instead of learning how to lead. The truth is, masculinity shouldn't be toxic, but calling it that sure is. This is Ladies' Room Uncut. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching.